Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Friday. Today is October 17th, and we've got some races to coverage at Santa Anita, the great race place to start off their race weekend. So let's get going at Santa Anita. Okay, so today I do have a couple win bets, and I do like the late pick 5 at Santa Anita. I've got a ticket I'm going to make there. So we're going to start out in the 5th race, which does start that late pick 5. The 5th race does have approximate post time about 3:03 Pacific time, so it's 5:03 here in the Central Time Zone. We're starting out with a mile on the dirt, and this is a first level California allowance race. These are for fillies and mares, 3 and up, and I have a single here. I want to get the pick 5 started with this horse. I think that she's in a good spot here off the claim. I think she's ready to go today. That being the 2 horse, Run a Mile in My Shoes for Steve Knapp, 6-5 in the program. Antonio Fresu takes the call. Now, Steve Knapp claimed this horse off of Jeff Mullins last time in a turf race over at Santa Anita. This horse has been knocking in and around the Calbred allowance conditions as well as running in open allowance conditions. Now, she's done most of her running on the turf. However, when she did run on the dirt one time, she did take care of the business, and that was at a mile at Del Mar. Remember that was last year, maybe about 13 months or so ago, something like that. But anyway, the horse took the lead, won a nice race that day. She never saw the dirt since. They just put her strictly on turf, which she was running some good races, I think up against better. Last time she ran, Mullins put her in for the claim for 20 in that Calbred race. Steve Knapp saw fit to claim the horse. Now, it's not like Knapp is looking to improve the horse. He's putting the horse right back into the Calbred allowance ranks with that $20,000 optional claim there. That's what gets her eligible for this race. So I just think that she found a field that she's just probably better than, and she should take care of the business for her second time on dirt. I don't know if Fresu's going to go to the lead with her from the 2-hole, because certainly she has done that effectively, or if he'll stalk, but we'll see. We'll leave it up to him. He's the reinsman, and he'll take care of the business here. Get that pick 5 started with the 2 horse. Run a Mile in My Shoes. All right, now let's go to the 6th race of the day. 6th race of the day is a 6-furlong grass sprint. That's on the flat grass course. These are fillies and mares, $50,000 maiden claimers. And these are 3-year-olds and up. And I've got 2 horses here I'm going to put in for pick 5 purposes. And I do have a win bet. So for pick 5 purposes, I am going to put the 2 horse, was Frog for Michael McCarthy, Juan Hernandez. This horse has been, in and around this condition here, running some even races, good enough races that could win this. This is not a really tough bunch of horses here, so Frog, could certainly be effective here at 9-5. And then I am going to put the 6 horse, who is Parle for John Sadler and Tyler Bays. Now, I think Tyler Bays has some live mounts today, could have a multiple race winning day here. So I've got the 6 horse. I'm also going to make a win bet on Parle. Now, I like this horse dropping into the maiden claiming races. She had not been here before. She had been running strictly in maiden special weight races in her first 4 starts. I thought she ran with some nice horses. I mean, she ended up running up against Jungle Peace, who was really nice earlier this year at Santa Anita. She ran with the boys, ran up against Scipio, and Scipio's a stakes winner, if I'm not mistaken. So, she had run with some nice horses. Last time out, they put her in at the 5-furlong grass race over at Del Mar, those sprint races. She got kind of jostled around and roughed up a little bit on the back stretch. I thought she came on to run nicely. I think she'll be much faster here in this maiden claiming level here. It'll, certainly should be an effective drop here for the Sadler barn. She's 5-1, so we'll put Parle in here and make a win bet on Parle in the 6th race, that being the 6 horse. All right, now on to the 7th race. 7th race is a state-bred maiden $20,000 claiming race, 6 furlongs on the dirt. And usually when you see these lower-level races, whether they be maiden races or races of winners, a lot of times you don't see long shots here. But I think in this race, this is kind of a newer condition here in Southern California, where they're dropping these horses into $20,000 at the 2-year-old age. We were not seeing that before, and I think that's probably, part of it is because of the population of Northern California horses. So they've written this condition into the books here, where we're seeing a $20,000 maiden claimer for a 2-year-old. So they're going 6 furlongs. I think it's a wide open race. I'm putting 6 horses in here. I feel like it's not as simple as running out the favorites there, and got to get some coverage here. So I'm going to put the 1 horse, She's Back. Jamie Thomas brings this horse in from Emerald Downs. We've seen some of the Emerald shippers do well. We've seen them some not do so well. Kevin Orozco takes the call here from the 1-hole, 8-1. We'll see if that horse is live here. We'll put her in. We're going to put the 5 horse, was Priscilla for Andy Mathis, Ricardo Gonzalez here. Now this horse drops in to the 20 level. She had run a couple times in maiden special weights, had run once at the 50,000 claiming race. Ran an even race when she ran up against claimers. Maybe she'll be faster here for the Mathis barn at this $20,000 level. She's 6-1. We'll put her in there. Going to put the 8 horse being Southern Anton. Tim McCanna puts his horse in here, another shipper from Emerald Downs. She's in for the $20,000 claiming tag. She had run one time over at Emerald Downs in a maiden special weight. Ran a nice race, almost won the race, got beat near the wire. David Cohen takes over here. This horse is 9-2. Southern Anton could be faster here in this race, has an outside spot, stalk spot. We'll see if, she ends up being good enough. Going to also put Clam Beach, Alfredo Marquez. Hector Barrios takes the call here. Now they had the apprentice Bautista on the horse the last couple times. She had run in this $20,000 level. Came third twice. 8-1 Hector Barrios. Maybe he improves his horse. He could be live here. And then finally going to put the 12 horse, who was Remember April, for Tim Yachtine. Yachtine legs up Jeremy Laprida here. Now this horse also is dropping to the lowest level. This horse, she did run in the claiming ranks over at Los Al in her first start. Just kind of ran an even race. They ended up putting the horse on the turf in her next two. She ran up against much better horses in special weight ranks, and she didn't run too poorly. So maybe the switch back to dirt and also dropping her in makes her faster. 5-1, we'll put Remember April with Jeremy Laprida. And then finally we'll put the 14, who is Chica Tigre. Blaine Wright brings this horse in. Juan Hernandez takes the call again. Hernandez has been on this horse a couple times, her last 2 starts. She had the misfortune of having a break from the inside in her last couple sprint races over at Del Mar. Those were both for 50,000 claimers. This group should be, theoretically softer. So maybe the move to the outside could be better, better suited here for Chica Tigre. Juan Hernandez takes the call at 8-1, so we'll put her in there as well. So in the 7th race, we've got the 1, 5, 8, 9, 12, and 14. All right, now let's move over to the 8th race of the day. 8th race of the day, this is a $40,000 claiming race, open claiming, mile on the grass. And, so 2-turn race here. I'm going to put 2 horses in, as well as I do have a win bet I'm going to make here. I'm going to put the 1 horse, was Beef Winslow, for Bob Hess. Umberto Rispoli takes the call. This horse ran at this same level last time at Del Mar. Horse had a kind of a rough trip, was pretty much wide around the whole track. It's really not somewhere you want to be at Del Mar, going every turn being 2-3 wide there. And, I just thought it was the horse that took kind of the overland route. Ended up running a good race. Got beat by Quezon. Quezon, I think, just upset the field that day. Quezon's in this race, but I'm not expecting Quezon to duplicate that effort. So we'll put Beef Winslow in, 9-5 in the program. As I mentioned, Rispoli takes the call. This horse certainly fits here. This horse has claimed this horse from Powell, and, Leonard Powell put this horse in for 50. Couple starts back at Del Mar, has claimed the horse, putting the horse in for 40, probably just putting him in where he belongs, and, certainly no secret at 9-5. So we'll put Beef Winslow in. Then I'm going to put the 5 horse. 5 horse being Crosby Beach for Jeff Mullins. Jeff Mullins legs up Tyler Bays. Certainly Tyler Bays and Jeff Mullins have paired up for some nice work over the years. They certainly have a long history together. Now Mullins brings this horse in off the claim. He claimed this horse off of Steve Knapp last time. And, Crosby Beach has a pretty nice record at Santa Anita, pretty much doing most of her damage in her lifetime at Santa Anita on the grass. So certainly is no stranger to the surroundings there. As I mentioned, Bays takes the call here. It is first time Bays, 7-2. I like the fact that Mullins putting this horse, back in at a similar level, putting his horse in at an open 40. Certainly not a drop, running that first level allowance or optional claimer of 50 last time is where he got claimed. Mullins is pretty good off the claim, and Mullins is pretty good overall, and certainly on turf racing, because I know that's where he's shifted his focus many years ago and kind of just moved his barn into the direction of turf racing. So I think Crosby Beach will be very live here at this 40 level. I think Bays will give this horse a nice ride. I think Bays, as I said, has some live horses here. We'll make a win bet as well on the 5 horse Crosby Beach. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day. Now the 9th race being the last race, this is 6.5 on the dirt, so dirt sprint here. And this is a condition maiden race here. Basically what this race is, these are 2-year-old fillies, and they're just really freezing out the big purchases. So these are horses who have been sold at auction for $150,000 or less. Certainly nothing to sneeze at, but when you've got horses that get bought for $500,000, $700,000, over $1 million, they seem to dominate things. So they created this condition here to give other people a chance to run horses and not have to drop them into claiming. However, this race does offer a claim option as well, that being $62,500. And I don't think anybody did drop their horse in for the claim, so everyone just does meet that condition of being sold for $150,000 or less in the auction. So I feel this is a really wide open event here. I'm going to put 6 horses in coverage. It's kind of like putting, like a dime package in football, putting a lot of defensive backs back and trying to have a lot of coverage as best as you can. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Hoping to have a nice ticket, having beaten a couple favorites and having a lot of coverage here in this last race. So I'm going to put the 3 horse was Debbie's Gal, Richard Baltus, Juan Hernandez. This horse had the benefit of 1 start over at Los Alamitos in a maiden special weight, which is probably about the same category as this. Debbie's Girl ran evenly, 5-2, certainly, could be a factor here. Going to put the 4 horse was Can't Say That for George Papapadromo. Umberto Rispoli back on the horse here. This horse takes blinkers off, and I don't know. We'll leave it to the Papapadromo barn on why they did that. They must have seen something there. She ran up against a pretty nice winner in Rivera, so that was probably a tough race here. She had kind of a tough start there at Del Mar, breaking from the 3-hole. We'll see if she gets a better start here, running with softer company, 9-2. The 4 horse Can't Say That. Going to put the 6 horse was Mimi's Memory, also for George Papapadromo. He takes the blinkers off this one. This horse also comes out of that same race, Rivera won. This horse had the misfortune of the 1-hole, ended up getting out on the lead, taking the horses, to the lead for, about half the race and then folded up. Nothing wrong with that in her first time. So we'll see. We'll give her another shot here. She's 5-1 with Edwin Maldonado. Maldonado, first time on the horse, is a pretty good angle, especially a speed horse. Going to also put the 7 horse, who is Tocala, for Ryan Hansen. And he put Adrian Escobedo on the horse. Now, Escobedo, I think he's an underrated rider. Very good with speed horses, getting a horse in good position. This horse shows some nice workouts. Horse by Yaupan. We've seen some nice Yaupans offspring come out this year. This is his first crop of 2-year-olds. So we'll see. $100,000 purchase, might end up being the class of the race. We'll see. But 8-1 here in the program. We'll put Tocala in. Been training well. Ryan Hansen, can get him ready off the bench. First time out. Maybe this horse surprises. They're going to also put the 9 horse Heavenly Princess, Librado Baraccio, Giovanni Franco. These guys have been a team lately. Now, you don't really see Baraccio with first-time starters, so this is a little bit new, but, he does have a decent record, some winners in there, in past history. This horse by Good Magic, and, training pretty well, so, we'll see if Librado Baraccio is trying to get into the 2-year-old training game. He usually seems to do a lot of his work off claims and things like that, but Baraccio is a good trainer, so he could probably do it all. At 8-1, we'll put in Heavenly Princess, and then I'll put a long shot in here who is specialty for Patrick Gallagher. Patrick Gallagher training for a big outfit, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. Now, Gallagher has trained for these guys in the past. They don't usually give him their first string, but you know what? They do give him some horses. This horse purchased for $150,000, certainly nothing to sneeze at. Ricardo Gonzalez takes the call here. Horse has been training okay from the 10-hole. Is 30-1. Like I said, I think it's open. I think this race could be an upset. Specialty can definitely, be there at the end. So we'll put that horse in. So we've got the 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10 in the last race. Now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for Friday, October 17th, we've got a late pick 5 as well as a couple win bets on the card. Pick 5 does start in the 5th race. 5th race, we're going to start the pick 5 with the 2. With the 2-6. With the 1-5-8, 9, 12, 14. With the 1-5. With the 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Now that's a $72 ticket for the pick 5. I think it's worth it. If we can get that started off with the single, maybe we catch a couple prices and we'll see it pay on a Friday. Then we've also got the win bets. In the 6th race, we've got the 6 horse, Parle, and then the 8th race, we've got the 5 horse, was Crosby Beach. So if you see fit, you want to play the tickets as is, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to add or subtract, you do what you need to do, or if you want to play the win bets, wish you the best of luck on what you decide to do. Let's wish the folks over at Santa Anita a very safe day of racing today. Let's wish ourselves some good trips. We'll get some good results with these bets. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today. Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for watching, listening to the picks. You could like, dislike, make comments. I promise to respond to everything. Let's create a discussion. So thanks again. Let's get this weekend started off on the right foot with some winners. We'll be back with coverage for Saturday at Santa Anita, the great race place Have a wonderful Friday. Thank you.